Wanted to have a conversation about gay men who disrespect heterosexual women, even women that they are, um, supposed to be friends with. And I want to respond to this commenter here. She says, I've noticed women saying that when they tell their gay friend about who they are dating, when then that gay friend would say, "Oh, I slept with him before," but a lot of times he is lying. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. And this isn't a homophobic post. I'll give that disclaimer. Despite my disclaimer, I'm sure that somebody's going to say, "You're this, you're that." So, I'll do my due diligence. Um, I think that whenever you're friends with someone, you still have to maintain your boundaries, but and draw your line in the sand that friends cannot cross. There are some people that will, step all over your boundaries and moonwalk across them back and forth, just simply because they don't care and they feel like they should get a pass and be able to say and do disrespectful things. And this could be men, women, whatever the case may be. But I have found this also to be true in relationships with gay men. And I think a lot of women trust gay men more, or they surround themselves with gay men more because they may be more feminine. They may be um, the more, excuse me, for popping like that, the more safer category of men for many women because I don't see him as threatening. He doesn't want me, so I'm not threatened by his penis, just to put it out there. So if he doesn't want me sexually, I don't think he's angling to get me in that way. However, with that being said, gay men can still be very much misogynistic, and they could still very much be very competitive with women, especially when it comes down to getting men or being in relationships with men, and that competitive nature. Um, that many women often experience with each other, you can experience that with a gay man. And I think when gay men talk on your relationship, first, I think anybody talking on your relationship without getting permission is disrespectful. Like, and getting permission is saying, well, I have some thoughts. Are you okay with me sharing them with you? And you can phrase it however you want to. But, or if somebody's coming to you and they want your advice, that's a little bit different. Like they're coming to you and they're asking for your advice. But I think when people speak on your relationship out of order, without you saying that that's okay, I feel like that's disrespectful. And sometimes, I've even gotten to the point where, like, unless someone specifically asks me a question, I don't offer anything. That's just where I'm at. It's not my relationship. It's not my business. I don't care. If you want to tell me about it, that's fine. But I don't have to go home and be with whomever you're talking about. So I'm not really emotionally invested like that. That's kind of how I look at it. But me personally, Dr. Jones has had friends for many years, gay men friends for many years. My longest friendship with one, and this is just as a little aside, was 20 plus years. Um, Very nice man. I have a lot of love for him. But one of the things that I noticed um, is that he got real disrespectful when I dated men. And some of the men, I think he knew all of them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So I think he knew all of them. He had met all of them. And, they were all good looking. And he would say, "Oh, you know, I think he's one of us. I think he's on my team." And oh, uh, if I had the chance, man, I would tap that. Or, um, I just give me one night with him or something to that. And this was, with respect to all of the men that I was dating, that he was making this commentary on how attractive they were and how he would tap that, or they play on, he thinks that this one plays for his team, or, I don't know, this and that, just sort of planting these seeds of doubt and things like that, or being disrespectful. And I let it go on for too long. That was my fault as a person. But then it was just like, well, you know, a person that I was with for a really long time, and I had broken up, and he's like, "Oh, I think he plays on our team, and I would tap that. If I see him, I'm going to try to tap that." That's way too far, and it's totally inappropriate. And our friendship is done, after that. And, I don't ever want you to get to, because I wouldn't tolerate that from a woman. I would never tolerate that from a woman that, would say something like that to me. So none of my friends, not even my own mama could tell me something like that and get away with it. Why am I allowing this with a gay man? You know, and despite that, I still have a lot of love for him, but we're done because you've become way too comfortable disrespecting me. And I think a lot of women do this, where they get into this place with their gay male friends that they allow a lot of disrespect. They really need to learn to know their place and keep that shit to themselves, just to be frank with you. But that behavior has to go checked. And unfortunately, a lot of us have become so safe and so casual that we've allowed, that disrespectful commentary to continue way past the date of expiration. And I notice it even now, when these men are on social media, these gay men are on social media, and they're doing these podcasts, and that rhetoric and that commentary is very much the same, where they try to gaslight women. They put down women. Well, I could do this, and I could this and that better than you. It's not a competition. It's great if you have high self-esteem. I'm all for it. But the minute that you start becoming disrespectful to me, we're no longer friends, and you no longer need to be in my circle. And I just have to keep my distance from that. And it could be very subtle. It could be touted as something funny or as a joke, or, like, we're just girls, and I'm just giving it to her. But actually, it's their way of disrespecting you and telling you that, hey, I could steal your man if I wanted to, or your man really wants someone like me. Whether or not there's any truth to it is, whatever. I think, but there's still a level of decorum and respect that you have to have when it comes to friendship. People can plot and scheme and be devious when it comes to their friends, even when it seems like they're harmless in doing so. But you have to be the one to protect yourself and let other people know that, hey, I'm not okay with that, and you need to move around, and that's just what it is. No one should ever feel comfortable to have that kind of commentary and dialogue and disrespect towards you in your relationship. So, I would encourage you to block, delete, move around when that happens, and, cancel that friendship. That because that person is essentially telling you that they're not a friend, and they're okay with being disrespectful towards you and speaking about your relationship and your partner in a negative way. And I'm okay with things like, if there's an ounce of truth, but people need to ask for permission before speaking in your relationship, right? You got to ask for permission. You have to say some things. And I need to know that you're coming to me with integrity, not you're trying to get an ego boost off of, you know, perceived slight or something like that. So I hope that helps. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I'm ready for the comments. And again, if you like what you hear, definitely subscribe to the newsletter and to the podcast. A Date with Darkness podcast is linked in my bio. Thanks so much. Take care.